It's time for this week's episode of Brandon's Sports Talk.
Welcome back to Brandon's Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the USA Paralympian sitting volleyball player, Emma Schieck. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing awesome. It's been a great day so far. I'm excited about this.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to be a professional volleyball player?
Yeah, I honestly, so when I was really little and I first started playing volleyball, I was only 7 years old. But I fell in love with the sport really early and knew that I wanted to be able to play for as long as I could. And then when I made the switch over to sitting volleyball my sophomore year of high school, I knew that becoming a Paralympian and playing in a Paralympic Games was something I really wanted to be able to accomplish someday.
What was it like going to UNC to obviously major in sports administration as, of course, a volleyball player?
Yeah, so I'm a current student at Carolina right now. I'm going into my junior year, but I'm on a gap semester. And so far, everybody that I've met within the athletic department and within the exercise and sports science department at UNC has been absolutely incredible. And I can't wait to be taking more sports administration classes this next semester.
How did you know that you wanted to obviously go into being a Paralympian?
Yeah, I mean, once I met the national team and had started training with them and like hearing about their Paralympic experiences, I knew that it was something that I wanted to pursue too. No matter how long it took, it was something I wanted to achieve.
Of course, what was it like knowing that obviously in 2020 with COVID being a big factor and you getting into the Paralympians, what was that transition like from obviously going from obviously we were still in COVID and you're trying to get into being a professional Paralympian athlete?
Yeah, so that was really challenging because there were many months where we couldn't get together as a team at all. But we, or I, and a lot of my teammates, we spent that time like individually training and still working out, and like our eyes never shifted off of the goal of making it to Tokyo and winning gold once we got there. Um, so it was challenging both physically and mentally, but it was totally worth it.
Of course, while you were training, were you also training with some of, honestly, did you have some teammates on the UNC volleyball team that you were training with to, of course, prepare you?
Yeah. So one of my old teammates from South Iredell High School, her name is Marissa Meyerhofer, and she's on the UNC team right now. She was one of my teammates in high school, but for the majority of the UNC volleyball team, the first time that I met them actually was this past weekend. They honored me at their game against UNC Charlotte, and I got to, go eat a meal with them and hang out with them, and they were all absolutely incredible. And right now they're, I think, 11-0 as we're talking. So they're awesome. They're kicking some butt.
Of course, what was that feeling like, obviously coming back home and obviously because you go to UNC, being honored by the volleyball team for obviously going to Tokyo and winning?
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, I've ever since I was little, I grew up in North Carolina. I've always wanted to go to UNC, and I've always idolized the UNC volleyball girls, like when I was little and still learning how to play. So it was really cool to kind of be in the locker room with them and hear from them and get to talk to them.
What was it like going to Tokyo and competing for the country?
Oh, it was incredible. There is no feeling I can describe like winning that gold medal for our country, and getting to live in the Team USA building with all these other professional athletes who are representing our country, and rooting for each other and hearing about each other's experience was absolutely amazing.
Of course, while at in Tokyo, what was it like when you got to put on the Team USA jersey and your name on the back?
It was amazing. So I've been on the national team now for almost 4 years. So it wasn't my first time wearing a USA jersey, but it was my first time competing in the Paralympics, and putting our jersey on the locker room kind of was like, oh my gosh, like this is real, like this is happening, So it was awesome.
Of course, what was it like, of course, having the rings on after obviously you said that you've been wearing the Team USA jersey for 4 years, but you didn't have the rings on it yet.
Yeah, so we in the Paralympics, we don't actually use the rings. The Paralympic logo is it's called the Agitos. And you can see it here. It's on my jacket. So that was our logo. And being able to be in the Paralympics and compete as a Paralympian and see the Agitos lit up at night was really cool.
What was that feeling like of getting to stand beside the Legito after knowing what all of the work you've put into?
Oh, it was incredible. To know we finally had made it to the stage and we were finally getting to compete after. Awesome.
What was some of the preparation that was leading up to obviously going to Tokyo this previous year?
So like I mentioned, I am a full-time student at UNC Chapel Hill, and we were completely virtual over the last year. So I would spend like 3 weeks in Chapel Hill and then 3 weeks in Oklahoma. And when I was in Oklahoma, I would be training full-time with my team. And then when I was at home, I'd be working out on my own. For me, there was a lot of mental preparation and making sure that I was in the right headspace to compete, as well as physically getting ready, lifting weights, getting touches.
Of course, as you talked about being a full-time student at Chapel Hill, what was that like being the full-time student and obviously balancing, of course, being an Olympian, a Paralympian, versus
Mhm.
obviously just how normal college athletes are able to balance, obviously playing for their sport of the school, but you were playing for obviously our country.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I've been on this team the entire time I've been in college, and I've taken international trips before while being a student. But when I started at UNC, I knew that Tokyo and the Paralympics was my goal. That was my goal, and it was my dream. And I wanted to set myself up for success. In case I did get the opportunity to go. So every summer that I've been in school, I've taken classes, usually 6 to 12 hours over the summer. And I came in with a few credits as well, so that I was in a place where I was prepared and ready to take the semester off and still graduate on time. So I was fortunate enough to not have to take classes or worry about school. I was in Tokyo, which was really new for me, and made it a lot easier to just enjoy the experience and focus on winning a gold medal.
What was a typical game day like for you, of course, in the Paralympians?
Yeah, so a Paralympic game day. I mean, we'd wake up in the morning, get a good breakfast in. My teammate Jillian Coffey, she would braid our entire room's hair, and so she would do my game day hair for me, get me ready, and then we would head over to the gym. We'd compete, and then come back home when we would get some recovery food, and we'd try to watch some other sitting volleyball games that were on TV.
Of course, did you have any routines and rituals that you did before the game?
Yeah, so I know, I think Annie mentioned it to you when you guys talked. Her and I and a group of a few of my other teammates would get together, and we had pre-practice and pre-game touches that we would get every time, where mostly for our setters, but also our libero could get really good touches and kind of calm themselves down and get into the headspace they needed to be in to get going.
Of course, who are some players that you look up to on obviously the US team? And then what was it like to meet people from different countries in the Paralympians?
Yeah, so on our team, Katie Holloway, our captain, has always, I mean, been someone who is incredible to me. The amount of work that she does off the court for not only our team, but for the entire US Paralympic delegation is incredible. She works so hard to advance the Paralympic movement, and I absolutely admire her for it. And she was the MVP for women's sitting volleyball in Tokyo. She had an incredible tournament, and I love getting to play with her. And I'm sorry, what was the second half of the question? Oh, other countries. What was really cool, we have pretty good relationships with a lot of the other countries sitting volleyball teams, like especially the Brazilian team. So it was really cool to like talk to them and then to get to play them in the semifinal. This was really awesome too.
Of course, what was the feeling like whenever you got awarded the medal and it was around your neck?
Oh my gosh, it was getting. So my teammate Jillian was the one that was able to put the medal on me, and that was really special because her and I had kind of been together through this entire thing from the beginning. And both of us had the same first camp. So we both started with the national team in November of 2017. And we both started with the developmental program in June of 2017. So we've had the exact same path. And then her and I were two of the first ones in Tokyo. Only four of my teammates were there for a week, and it was her and I. And then because of some COVID issues on our team, Jillian was thrown into a starting position, and I ended up going in as a serving specialist. So her and I have kind of really been on track together, and it was really special to have her put the medal on my neck and be able to give her a hug.
Of course, when you got back home to obviously Carolina, what was that feeling like of being surrounded by obviously your friends that were on the volleyball team for Carolina and getting to see the medal and stuff like that?
Yeah, so actually the first time I'd really spent much time with the UNC volleyball girls was this past weekend. But they all really loved seeing the medal, and they thought it was super cool. And everyone comments on how heavy it is. And so I let them wear it and take pictures, and we all it was just really cool to like be able to share that excitement and share my accomplishment with everybody.
Of course, what are some of your future plans as right now? Obviously, you have one silver medal, but what are some of your other future plans?
Yeah, so now that we've won gold, that was our big goal for right now. Being able to say I'm a Paralympic gold medalist is absolutely incredible. And then looking forward, Paris is only 3 years away, and then I have no idea what the future holds for me after that. But I know that I have many, many years ahead of me in this sport, and I absolutely love it and my team.
Of course, as you prepare for Paris, what are some of the things that you're doing now to prepare yourself for 4 years away for Paris?
Right now, honestly, I've been back for 2 weeks. I'm sleeping a lot. I'm sleeping and I'm eating good food and hanging out with my family. And my boyfriend, I just helped him move in Raleigh, and seeing my friends and relaxing, because it's been a really hard few years getting ready for these games, and the games themselves were really stressful. So I'm relaxing right now. But once it's time, this October, I'll be back at full-time training in Oklahoma with my team.
Of course, looking back on obviously your time in the Paralympians, what are some of your fondest memories, and what was it like obviously coming back home with the gold?
Yeah, so one of my favorite, an obvious favorite was winning. Winning gold was really cool. But one of my favorite days was opening ceremonies day. We didn't go to opening ceremonies because of COVID, but myself, Jillian, the teammate who braids our hair, our captain, Katie, who I look up to, and Laura, who was competing in her 5th Paralympic Games, pregnant with her 4th child. It was just the 4 of us in Tokyo. The rest of my teammates were still in quarantine. So we spent the day like getting our hair done, taking pictures, exploring the village. We got our nails done, walked around the plaza. We ate good food, and we got dressed like we were going to opening ceremonies, even though we didn't actually go. And it was just really cool that because for Jillian and I, this is our Paralympic debut. And for Katie and Laura, this is their 4th and 5th Paralympics. They really went out of their way to make it so special for Jillian and I. And that was incredible.
Of course, how does it feel to obviously have your first Paralympian under your belt? And what does it feel like also to obviously have Paralympian behind your last name?
Oh my gosh, it feels incredible. So there was a long time where I really didn't think I was going to be in Tokyo, and to have gone and to have been able to play a role in winning gold, it's an indescribable feeling. And being able to introduce myself as a Paralympian is, I didn't know if I'd ever be able to do that. And so like today I was talking to the middle school. And when I first started talking, it's like, hi, I'm Emma Schieck, and I'm a Paralympic gold medalist. And that's one of the few times I've said it out loud so far. But it's awesome. I love it.
Of course, as you start to get used to obviously calling yourself a Paralympian, what is that going to feel like whenever people address you as obviously Paralympian behind your last name?
Oh, it'll never get old. It's awesome. I love it.
What are some of your future plans and dreams, obviously, while you start your career?
Yeah, like I said, I really want to play sitting volleyball for a long time to come. I know Paris in 2024, LA 2028, and Brisbane, Australia to 2032. None of those are out of the question for me. I'd love to be around for a long time. But outside of volleyball, I hopefully will be graduating college in May 2023 from Carolina. And with my degree in sports administration, but also interpersonal and organizational communication. I'm really passionate about the Paralympic movement. I love how incredible Paralympic athletes are and how amazing these sports are. And I would love to be able to work off the court in advancing the Paralympic movement. And that's partially why I look up to Katie so much, because she's done incredible work working with the Paralympic movement. So I don't think anything's out of the question, but I know that I want a great life in sport.
What advice would you give the people looking to obviously go to the Paralympians for the first time, just like you have, and people looking to go back?
Yeah. Enjoy it. I always, whenever people ask me for advice, it's always have fun. That's my biggest thing, because if you're not having fun, you're not going to do well. They asked in an interview before our finals match, somebody asked me what I thought we had to do to come home with gold. And I said the same thing. And we have to have fun and we need to bring energy, because when we're doing that, we play at the highest level and nobody can touch us. And I think the same goes for so many people out there. If you're looking to go compete for the first time, you need to be enjoying every aspect of the experience and loving your sport so that you can be successful. Yeah.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Yeah. So on Instagram, I'm Emma and then SCHIECKK. That's Emma Schieck with 2 Ks. I'm Emma Schieck 04 on Twitter and Emma Schieck on TikTok.
Thank you again, Emma Schieck, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as you begin your Paralympian sitting volleyball professional career.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Emma Schieck, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good day.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.